On March 11th, a question was posed to the world that sent shockwaves through the halls of defense ministries. Is this the end of the high-tech fortress? For over 40 years, Western military doctrine was built on a single, unwavering promise: that qualitative superiority could always overcome quantitative mass. We believed we could build a few perfect shields to stop many imperfect swords. But we have entered a redefined era. We call it the era of precise mass. It is the ability of an adversary to deploy massive volumes of low-cost, expendable, and yet highly accurate systems to overwhelm and literally bankrupt a technologically superior defender. Today, the fortress isn't being breached by a better battering ram. It is being audited out of existence. To understand how we got here, we have to look at the tension between mass and technology throughout history. Since the French Revolution, the ability of a nation to raise mass armies and produce weapons at scale has dictated the nature of land warfare. During the 20th century, we saw a race for range, volume, and battlefield transparency, but the late 20th century tried to substitute accuracy for saturation. We thought if we could hit exactly what we aimed at, we wouldn't need 10,000 shells. We would only need one. But today, precision has been democratized. Off-the-shelf components, GPS, and hobbyist electronics have allowed the sword to become as accurate as the shield, but at a fraction of the price. Let's look at the cold, hard numbers. Modern air defense is essentially a game of probability, specifically what mathematicians call a Bernoulli trial. If you are a defender, your goal is zero leakage. You have to stop every single threat to protect your asset. But even with a 98% success rate for your interceptors, the math of scale is brutal. If an enemy sends 100 drones, the mathematical chance of a perfect defense drops to just 13%. If they send 200 drones, that probability falls to effectively zero. At that scale, at least one threat is virtually guaranteed to get through. To fight this, military doctrine mandates firing multiple interceptors at a single target to boost the aggregate kill probability. To ensure you hit a target with a 70% single-shot success rate, you fire 3 missiles. This brings your success rate to over 97%. But there is a massive hidden cost. You are now depleting your limited interceptor stockpiles 3 times faster than the enemy is launching their drones. This leads us to the most significant advantage of saturation tactics, the economics. We measure this using the cost-interception ratio. When this ratio becomes lopsided, the defender enters a state of economic death. This is where the cost to defend an asset far exceeds the value of the asset itself. Consider the current imbalance on the battlefield. A common attack drone built with civilian-grade engines and simple navigation costs between $20,000 and $50,000. In contrast, a modern Patriot interceptor missile costs between $3 million and $5.5 million. If we do the math, for every $1 the attacker spends, the defender is spending $200. If the defender follows the 3-to-1 firing doctrine, that ratio balloons to 600 to 1. Even using cheaper systems, the disadvantage remains staggering. For every $1 of threat, you are spending $33 to stop it. At this rate, winning every engagement ensures you lose the war, because you simply run out of money. But the problem isn't just money. It is industrial fragility. This is what we call replacement arithmetic. Sophisticated interceptors are incredibly complex. They require rare earth materials, advanced seekers, and specialized clean room manufacturing. Some high-end missile systems have a production limit of roughly 12 units per year. Meanwhile, an adversary can produce over 100 attack drones per month, using existing automotive and electronics factories. This is a 15-to-1 production ratio in favor of the attacker. If a single week of intense conflict consumes 100 interceptors, it could take the entire industrial base up to 8 years to restock them. The high-tech fortress is dismantled simply by forcing it to empty its finite magazine against targets that can be replaced in a matter of days. We saw this play out in a simulated baseline known as Operation Epic Fury. In this scenario, a regional power initiated a systemic war of attrition against advanced air defense nodes. They didn't just fire randomly. They specifically targeted the radar units that act as the eyes of the defense system. By blinding the surveillance net, they forced the defenders to use even more interceptors to compensate for the lack of data. In the math of a typical engagement during Epic Fury, the attacker spent $3 million on a single salvo of 100 drones. The defender, trying to maintain a safe 3-to-1 ratio, was forced to spend over $1 billion to stop that single wave. If the defender has a stockpile of 500 high-end interceptors, they are exhausted by the middle of the very second salvo. Even with a perfect kill rate, the defender is bankrupt in terms of ammunition after only 200 targets. Once the magazine is empty, the subsequent salvos can strike billion-dollar refineries or command centers with zero resistance. During this engagement, over 1,300 drone intercepts were recorded, consuming nearly a quarter of the total national stockpile of high-end missiles in less than 2 weeks. This crisis is even more acute at sea. Naval destroyers are the primary defenders of global trade, but they are limited by fixed magazine capacities. A typical destroyer has 96 missile cells. These cells must be shared between offensive cruise missiles, anti-submarine rockets, and air defense interceptors. In a high-intensity environment, a ship might have only 60 cells dedicated to its own protection. Following the 3-to-1 doctrine, a single swarm of just 20 drones would consume the entire defensive magazine. Once those cells are empty, the ship is shot to empty. It must leave the battlefield and return to port to reload, a process that can take days and leaves the vessel completely vulnerable. The goal of a $20,000 drone isn't necessarily to sink the billion-dollar ship. It is simply to force it to go home and leave the area unguarded. So, is the fortress dead? Not quite. The defense industry is in a frantic race to flip the cost curve. We are seeing a counter-revolution in the form of marginal cost defenses. The most promising of these are directed energy weapons, or lasers. Systems like the Iron Beam offer two revolutionary advantages. First, the cost per shot is near zero, roughly the price of $3 or $4 worth of electricity. This completely collapses the 200-to-1 cost asymmetry. Second, they have an unlimited magazine. As long as the ship or battery has power, it can keep firing. However, lasers are not a magic wand. They are limited by the laws of physics. They struggle in fog, dust, and high humidity, and they currently only work at short ranges of up to 10 kilometers. While they can handle the cheap end of the threat spectrum, they cannot yet stop a heavy, supersonic missile. To bridge this gap, we are seeing the rise of drones to kill drones. These are low-cost, attritable interceptors that cost a fraction of a traditional missile. This is a shift toward deterrence at scale, matching the attacker's volume with mass-produced, expendable interceptors of our own. As we look toward the year 2030, the strategic landscape has shifted. Nations face a fundamental choice in how they spend their defense budgets. One path is the hypersonic philosophy, spending tens of millions of dollars on a single unstoppable missile to achieve a strategic decapitation strike. The other path is the swarm philosophy, spending that same money on a swarm of thousands of drones to achieve daily attrition. The swarm excels in prolonged conflict. It wears down the defender's budget, their patience, and their reserves. The likely winner of future wars will not be the side with the most impressive single weapon, but the side that can most effectively manage the cost-interception ratio. We have moved into a world where the economic sustainability of a defense system is just as important as its range or speed. Firing a $4 million interceptor at a $20,000 drone is a form of economic suicide. It leads to strategic defeat through budget exhaustion and stockpile depletion. The human warfighter is being displaced from the front lines, not just by choice, but by the cold logic of replacement arithmetic. In a world where low-cost, precise mass is the dominant currency of combat, the era of the unchallenged high-tech fortress has come to an end. In the wars of the future, the victor won't necessarily be the side with the best technology. It will be the side that can afford to keep the lights on and the assembly lines moving. As the old saying goes, quantity has a quality all its own. This time, however, that quantity is guided by an accountant's spreadsheet.